Good morning and welcome back. This is World Talks coming to you live from Warsaw. I'm Salia Strzemska. German federal elections are scheduled to take place this Sunday, just several days prior. Current Chancellor Olaf Scholz and opposition leader Friedrich Merz faced off in a final televised debate touching on migration, the economy and security. Pre-election polls have put Merz's center-right union bloc in the lead, with AfD, Social Democrats and the Greens trailing behind. To talk about tomorrow's vote and unpack some of the factors at play, I am joined here this morning by Julia Partheymüller, Senior Scientist, Vienna Center for Electoral Research. Good morning, delighted to have you with us. Thank you for joining.
Good morning.
So let's start with some key issues that Germany is facing right now. So do you believe that Germany right now is in the crisis and perhaps it has reached a turning point? Will these elections shake Germany out of its slumber? What is your take on this?
So it's clear that the economic prospects have not been very good since the invasion in Ukraine. So whereas the last election, we actually were in a situation where we had a quite good economy and economic optimism. Over the course of the last 4 years, this economic optimism has really vanished, and there is a strong sense of crisis. So in this sense, yes, there is a sense of crisis. And yeah, has Germany woken up from the slumber? Our Minister of Defense, he said there was a wake-up call, but we chose to press the snooze button. And yeah, the question is whether after this election, Germany will finally wake up.
Right, so Friedrich Merz is most likely to become the next chancellor at the moment. What is his promise for Germany?
I think the main reason why people support Merz is the hope that the Christian Democrats will get the economy back on track. So usually the Christian Democrats have been the party that is considered to be the most competent in the domain of economic affairs. And I think the promise of Merz and why he is so popular currently is the prospect that he could get Germany's economy back going.
All right, but I mean, no party is expected to win an outright majority. They will most certainly have to form a coalition. So what potential coalitions do we have?
So the most likely coalitions are a coalition between the Christian Democrats, so Friedrich Merz party, and the Social Democrats. If they don't win a majority with these two parties, then potentially they could take on the Green Party as a third party. And with these three parties, they most likely would have a majority, almost certainly. A coalition with the far right, Friedrich Merz has excluded this possibility. So currently, we don't think that this would be an option.
Right, but we should pay attention to the result that AfD obtains, right? Because, I mean, some were saying that, you know, with the support that they got from figures such as Elon Musk, it would sort of give us an indication of how much sway does the US and people like Musk have over the electorate in Germany. Do you agree with the statement? And what should the numbers be?
So what we expect is to see a historic victory of the far right. They will surely come out with the strongest result in the post-war era ever. We expect currently the party is polling slightly above 20%. And this seems to be the most likely result. And this will be a victory for the far right, and they will declare it a big win. Even if they will not be included in any kind of government formation, they still will be the largest opposition party, most likely. And this, of course, gives them also some sort of influence in the media and could be the prospect for the next election to come out even stronger. Regarding Elon Musk and his endorsement, I would like to say that, of course, research on endorsement shows endorsements do have a bit of an effect, but a very small one. So usually an endorsement can maybe shift the vote in, a small single digit percentage point. And but we see over the campaign that the AfD has been gaining ground a little bit, and probably this will have helped them a little bit.
All right. So you've mentioned that economy is one of the sort of most important aspects of this election. But what about migration?
Yes, so migration is surely the second most important topic. It has figured very prominently on the agenda. We had seen certain incidences of violence involving asylum seekers, and this has sparked a lot of media attention and outcry and debate. And also there was a vote in the parliament where Friedrich Merz put forward some sort of stricter policies on immigration. And in the end, this proposal did not win a majority in parliament, but it, of course, signaled that Merz desires to tighten up migration policies.
Right, and how would that sort of more restrictive migration policy impact Germany's role in the EU?
It's a bit hard to tell at this current point. The proposal involved, in fact, a certain number of provisions that were clashing with EU rules on migration. I think most likely because he also will need to go into a coalition. The coalition partners would not agree with those provisions. So I think in the end, they will try to cut a deal that maybe tightens certain aspects of the migration policies, but in a way conforming with the European policies. So I think that the European policies will be maintained as they are now. Maybe the process in the EU will also change a little bit. We have seen already that the EU has also been changing a bit the policies on migration, on pushbacks at the outer border of Europe, and maybe this could be a way Germany could support also stricter EU policies, but we will see how this will develop.
Right, and I mean, if stricter measures on immigration were introduced, how would they impact the labor market and sort of down the line Germany's economy?
In fact, actually, it's true. Nobody seems to be wanting to talk about it. But in fact, the German economy urgently needs migration. So economic analysis shows that Germany would need about 400,000 in immigration every year. And this is due to the demographics, so the aging population, and to maintain the size of the workforce, to maintain the economic power of Germany, actually migration is needed. So I think Germany will need to find a way to have sort of the right kind of migration that is desired and good for the economy, and maybe be stricter on other forms of migration that are less popular. I think this will be the delicate balance that this new government will need to deal with.
That's very interesting, and we've also sort of touched on the economic issue, but I wanted to bring the case of the debt brake, right? Which at the moment the deficit cannot exceed 0.35% of GDP, right? But given Germany's needs and also, defense spending, do you think that there will be a constitutional majority to perhaps amend that?
So I think they will probably not need a constitutional majority. I think the easiest way currently would be to declare some sort of emergency in the defense domain. So the debt brake, as it's formulated currently, allows for these kind of emergencies to take on extra debt. We have seen this during the COVID-19 crisis, where Germany also took on extra debt, and potentially with the US now declaring that they are less willing to provide defense for Europe, I think this would provide some grounds to declare the situation to be a certain kind of emergency in the defense sector, and this could be decided with a simple majority in parliament. So they would not even need a constitutional majority to take on more debt.
So, of course, I have to also ask you about Ukraine and Poland. What will this new government mean for Poland and NATO's eastern flank?
I believe that this new government is willing to take on more responsibility in the defense domain. So Germany traditionally has been not so strong in terms of defense. Germany has been sometimes called a reluctant hegemon, so leading in the economy space, but not leading on defense. And I think with this new government, we might see a situation where Germany will also be willing to take on further responsibilities in the defense domain and sort of step up the gap that emerges from the US becoming a little bit less supportive.
That's very interesting. And of course, I would like to ask you about Olaf Scholz, right? Because we're so used to him being the chancellor. So if his party loses, what does it mean for Scholz? I mean, will we see him in politics?
Yeah, that's a good question. He was very popular at the last election, but then his style of governing over the last 4 years has seen his popularity really plummeting. I believe he probably would remain the chairman of the party, but yeah, we will see if a leadership debate will emerge. Currently, the Minister of Defense, Pistorius, he is the most popular politician on the Social Democratic side, but I'm not sure if he would be considered to be a leader of the party. So yeah, so probably he will stay, but not as a chancellor, but maybe as a vice chancellor or in a different role.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. One more question about the US, of course, because we all remember what J.D. Vance said during the Munich Security Conference. And so my question would be, with this new German leadership, what kind of stance will Germany take towards the US?
I think that the new government under Merz will also be a pro-transatlantic alliance government, but I think the love is not returned from the other side so much. So I think J.D. Vance quite shocked the public by endorsing collaboration with the AfD. I think that was really out of the bounds for acceptability in the German discourse. And yeah, so I think that this alliance will, let's say, struggle from a certain tension between the US taking this support for the far right and the German mainstream parties actually opposing any kind of collaboration with the far right.
Julia Partheymüller, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Much appreciated. Thank you for your insights.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching World Talks. Please stay tuned for more here on TVP World.